we always try to go beyond just like the surface level stuff.
Right, get into the deeper meaning, what the film is trying to say.
Exactly. You've mentioned you're a big fan of the franchise.
Huge fan, since the first one.
Awesome. So for anyone who needs a super quick recap.
Ethan Hunt, IMF, impossible missions.
Yeah, basically saving the world from really bad guys over and over again.
And always with those incredible stunts.
Oh, the stunts are insane in this one.
Yeah.
But in Dead Reckoning, they're not facing a typical villain, right?
No, not at all. This time it's AI. They call it the entity.
Which, okay, we've seen evil computers in movies before.
Right. But this is different.
Yeah, it's not just like some program you can shut down.
More like a ghost in the machine, really. It can get into any system, manipulate things on a global scale. Super creepy.
That's what immediately hooked me on the whole thing. It's not just the spy versus spy thing anymore. It's like, how do you fight something that could be anywhere and everywhere in the digital world?
And that plays on some very real anxieties I think we all have about technology, about AI specifically. That feeling that, our phones are listening, algorithms are shaping our lives without us even realizing it.
And that it could get out of control.
Exactly. That's what makes Dead Reckoning so good. It keeps you guessing, keeps you on the edge of your seat, who to trust, what's real, what's going to happen next. It's brilliant.
You've definitely got me hooked. I'm ready to dive even deeper. But first, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll unpack those themes in more detail, talk about the connections to previous films, and discuss why Dead Reckoning is resonating so strongly with audiences. Stay with us. Okay, we're back. And before the break, we were talking about Grace, how she just throws this wrench into everything, making Ethan question everything even more.
Yeah, and it's not just about the people around him, it's bigger than that. It's about trust in institutions, governments, the systems that are supposed to keep us safe. The entity being able to get into anything, well, it shows how easily those systems could be turned against us.
It's like that fear that the things we create, the technology we rely on, could become the very thing that destroys us. Which, okay, maybe a bit dramatic, but it makes you think, doesn't it?
Not dramatic at all. I think it's a very real concern. And Dead Reckoning visualizes that in such a powerful way. The entity getting into surveillance systems, financial markets, even turning world leaders against each other. It's like a worst case scenario playing out.
And it ties into what we were saying before about truth. Like, in a world where information can be so easily manipulated, how do we even know what's real anymore?
That's where Ethan Hunt's character really shines in this film. He's always been the guy who relies on his instincts, his ability to read people. But now, those skills are pushed to the absolute solution to everything. Even his own...
He's constantly second-guessing himself. Can't trust the hand like he can trust his own team.
It seems an incredible mental burden. And I think that's something audiences really connect with. We all feel that to some extent, right? This sense of uncertainty, of not knowing what's real, who to trust.
It's like the film is holding up a mirror to our own lives.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, this is the world we live in now. Deal with it.
And that's what makes Ethan Hunt so compelling, I think. Even after all these movies, all these missions, he's not just a super spy. He's human. He struggles, he doubts, but he keeps going. Tries to find his own truth in all the chaos.
He's a survivor. And that quote, the truth is what we choose to believe. It just keeps coming back to me because it's so true. In a world where we're bombarded with information from all sides, we have to choose what to believe, find our own way.
Absolutely. And that's not easy. It adds a lot of depth for long-time fans.
So they're rewarding the fan, bringing in new ideas. But okay, no movie is perfect, right? Criticisms is...
Film was over 2.5 hours.
Which, yeah, that's a commitment. But I mean, given how complex the plot is, do you think it's justified?
I think so. For me, the pacing felt right, and it never dragged the door, of course.
For a streamlined experience.
Right. But for fans who are invested in this world and these characters, I don't think the length will be an issue at all.
And even for newcomers, the action alone should be enough to keep them entertained. And if they want more, well, that's what part 2 is for.
Exactly. And speaking of part 2, the ending of Dead Reckoning part 1, well, let's just say it leaves you wanting more. A classic cliffhanger.
But it's more than just a way to get you to watch the next one, right?
Yeah.
It feels like it's meant to make the audience feel the same uncertainty that Ethan...
Yeah, what's real, what's a who can you trust? It's a brilliant way to keep the audience engaged and build anticipation for the next film.
So we're left hanging. Just like Ethan. What happened next? But as we head into part 2 of our deep dive, I think it's important to step back and appreciate what this film is doing. It's not just about the action, the stunts, those are amazing. It's about these big ideas, these questions about technology, trust, and truth in a world that's getting more and more complex.
More. Dead reckons, but it also asks us to think about the world we live in, the choices we make, and the people we trust.
And as we wrap up this part of the conversation, I'm curious to hear what you think Dead Reckoning Part 1 is really about. At its core, what message do you hope the audience takes away from it? Great question. We've gone over so much, the action, the whole moral dilemma, but what's the point? What's at the heart of one?
It's about choice, I think. The whole movie comes down to that. We live in a world where tech is changing everything so fast, and where information can be, basically a weapon. And we're always faced with these choices, right? Who do we trust? Believe, act based on it out for us. Highlight how important those choices are. We've got to.
And it's right, all of us. Do we just accept what we're told, or do we question things? Do we think about the consequences of what we do?
Exactly. And the film is saying, hey, we have the power to choose, even when things feel out of control. We can choose our.
Wow, that's kind of empowering when you think about it. Even if it's hidden inside this crazy spy movie.
And those choices, they come with a price, as Ethan finds out.
Yeah, no choices without consequences.
And it's relevant for everyone, Today we're dealing with such huge issues: climate change, politics, AI itself. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, like our choices don't matter.
Yeah, what can one person even do?
But Dead Reckoning, it shows us that even small acts, doing the right thing, it can have an impact.
So it's not just about saving the world in some big, dramatic way.
No, it's about everyday choices. And that meant he's not perfect, makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But he tries to do what's right, even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous. And that's, I think, character shows us that we can all be Yeah.
It takes on a whole new meaning. Like, it's not just about figuring out the facts, it's about believing in something.
Yeah.
In ourselves, in our values.
Exactly. It's what makes Dead Reckoning Part 1 so powerful. It's an action film, sure, but it's also about something much bigger.
So for everyone listening, as you're watching Dead Reckoning Part 1, pay attention to the choices Ethan makes, the people he trusts. Think about what you would do in his place. What are you willing to fight for?
And remember, even when things feel confusing, scary even, we have choices. And those choices matter.
Great advice. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
My pleasure. Always enjoy talking about these films.
And for our listeners, this is just the beginning. Stay tuned for Part 2, where we'll break down all the twists and turns of Dead Reckoning Part 2. Until then, stay curious and keep asking those tough questions.